Today I'll be talking to you on the most beautiful subject I have ever spoken about. Martin Luther King said, "Hate cannot cast out hate. Only love can do that." This concept of love is spoken about by all the great teachers throughout history. It's a feature in all major religions. The Native Americans had stories about love. Buddha said, real love is when nothing is expected in return. The Apostle John wrote, "God is love," meaning he's the very personification of it, and it is him. And Gandhi said, "You deserve your own love in as much as everyone else in the universe does." And so this concept of love, it's not just isolated to romance. It goes so far beyond that. We think about loving everyone, or the concept of loving thy neighbor. But for us as complex trauma victims, the core wound likely started in not being shown enough love by our caregiver. And this is detrimental to our development as human beings because we need to learn love from our caregiver. We need to model love from our caregiver. So we trusted someone, whether it was a spouse, a mate, a parent, or otherwise, to love us unconditionally. They had that responsibility and they dropped it. They dropped the ball. Maybe they said they loved us. Maybe they felt they loved us. But was it real love? Was it healthy love? What is real love? What is this concept that the world seems to be so obsessed with? What is this concept that people are telling us we don't have enough of it for ourselves? What is the concept of love? Well, you'd be right in thinking of love as a concept. But we need to understand what love is not, because very commonly in society, love is thought of as being something mystical, something magical that will just sweep down upon you from the skies above. You will just look at the most beautiful woman in the world and you will feel love at first sight. Or you will run into the man of your dreams and you'll be swept off your feet and you will feel love for him from that moment for the rest of your life. Is that what love is? Is it something mystical from the universe? Is it a feeling, an emotion? Is it magic? What is love? Well, to understand love, we're going to take a very scientific approach to actually understanding it. Because everything in the universe, according to Albert Einstein, is energy. E equals mc squared suggests that even matter is energy, stored energy. So if everything in the universe is energy, then that means that we're energy as well. Now we see the physical body, and the physical body is made up of elements from the earth. But what about beyond the physical body? Because obviously we have our consciousness. So there's something to us that's beyond the physical body. And what is that? Well, the conscious self, your consciousness, which exists within your mind, is the self that's spoken of by psychologists as the ego. It's your inner self. It's who you are on the inside. It can feel like you are the pilot piloting your avatar. You are the self. I call it the metaphysical self, meaning just it's beyond the physical. But to understand this self, and there are many terms for it. For instance, if you're religious, you may have used the term soul. But that person that you are inside, it's not physical like this table or your physical body. It is beyond the physical. It exists in pure energy form or thought form. And our thoughts are energy. Literally, when the brain is scanned to see thoughts, what is seen as actual electrical synapses firing between neurons at the speed of a bullet train, and just thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of these synapses happening simultaneously are what create the thought self, are what create our consciousness. So as much as we understand it on a physical level, but to keep it simple, our thoughts are energy, and you have an energy self. This is so important to understand when it comes to our metaphysical health, because that's where the injury took place as complex trauma victims. You were metaphysically injured. That's why you don't see it necessarily on the outside. In fact, you may be very good looking. Some people may say, well, you're very beautiful. I don't see what could be wrong with you. Or you're very strong and handsome. I can't imagine that you would have been affected by abuse. But inside, you don't feel necessarily the way you look outside because the injury was metaphysical. Love is a concept which is metaphysical. A concept is just an idea. An idea is a thought. Thoughts are energy. So these ideas, these concepts are energy. And if we think of every concept or idea in the universe as carrying a charge, either being positive or negative, or constructive or destructive, then we can understand that the thought self is made up of concepts. These are concepts that we value and hold dear. These are the things that are important to us. It could be friendship, kindness, trust. These are the things that you hold as valuable, you hold as intrinsic to who you are. I am a smart person. I am a good person. The concepts of the self must be constructive in majority for you to be metaphysically healthy. If your concepts of self are majority destructive, then you will be metaphysically unhealthy, such as I am not smart, I am not strong, I am weak, I am helpless. These concepts, when they are too much, can start to erode at the concept of ourself and who we are. This can be broken down to a mathematical formula. For instance, your physical body is made up of elements. The main element in the physical body is oxygen. So oxygen is the majority of your body. There's nitrogen, and there's about 20% carbon. So your body has 20% carbon in it. Now, if it were to go beyond that, it's actually 18.5 to be specific. But once it reaches beyond that 20% threshold, it's very bad for the body. In fact, your blood becomes too acidic, and so it shuts down the kidneys. You will be unable to breathe. You could have seizures. You could go into a coma, and you will eventually die from having too much carbon in your system. How much carbon can you take? Remember, only about 20% carbon. Likewise, the metaphysical self is made up of these concepts, these ideas, these thoughts. And each of these thoughts carries an energy to it, positive, constructive energy, or negative, destructive energy. You can handle about 20% negative, critical thoughts and concepts about the self. You can handle about 20% negative, critical concepts about your loved one. You can handle about 20% negative critical concepts about the world around you before your thinking actually becomes unhealthy and you descend into what gets termed as mental health. In fact, the concepts of borderline personality disorder and narcissism and complex post-traumatic stress disorder all carry as one of its fundamental attributes, negative ideation. It could be negative ideation of a person or yourself, sometimes both. And this makes relationships very difficult. So when we talk about what love technically is, love is having the proper balance of positive to the negative, so that the positive will be about 80% or more of any concept. You see, when you view a concept, or you view a person, a thing, a place with 80% positivity, then you like or love that person, place, or thing. When you start to become overwhelmed with all of the positive you're taking in, that's that feeling of falling in love, because we're contemplating it and focusing on and noticing and ruminating over the positive, to the point where we become overwhelmed, infatuated with the concept of the person that we're looking at. We become overwhelmed. We have a crush on a person because our system actually feels overwhelmed with all of the positive stimuli when we're thinking about this person, and they become extremely valuable to the self. So that's love broken down. And now researchers who have tried to quantify how relationships work have done tests, and they've gotten to the point where they know to a 90% degree certainty if your relationship will end in a divorce or not. How do they know? Well, they said the formula is so simple. If the persons in the relationship are exhibiting 5-to-1 positive emotions, positive interactions, positive traits toward one another, then the relationship is likely to work out. When that 1 out of 5 becomes 2 or 3, or it becomes 50-50 negative positive, the negative is too high and it puts the relationship at risk. So yes, even when you view a person at 50-50 negative positive, you're likely to end in a divorce or a split up, because the love is not enough. So they found a scientific way at measuring, and you notice 5-to-1, it's the same ratio. It's 20% negative is what we can handle. Understanding this ratio can help us tremendously to be able to regulate ourselves so that we are healthy in terms of the way we feel and view our lives, the way we feel and view ourselves, and the way we feel about and view others. We know that we cannot handle things off balance for too long. Otherwise, we will become sick. Just like when the carbon is above 20%, the body goes into all of these sicknesses as well. When the negative thoughts, ideology is above 20%, then what happens? Anxiety, guaranteed. Depression, inevitable. And then we may start to have physiological symptoms as well. In fact, there's been a lot of research on forgiveness, and researchers have found that those who are low in forgiveness are high in depression, high in anxiety, high in heart disease. But forgiveness helps to boost the immune system. The Mayo Clinic has started using forgiveness training as one of its as one of its healing techniques. And the diagnostic manual for psychology is going to include bitterness as a personality disorder. It makes us wonder, how am I doing in being forgiving? In order for a marriage to work out, it has to be a union between two good forgivers, because neither of the parties are going to be perfect. So in order for a marriage to succeed, Both parties have to be high in forgiveness for one another and keeping those positive, upbuilding feelings and thoughts as the majority. So that even when a couple fights, researchers find that if they tend to get back to a positive place, the sooner they get back to that positive place, the more likely their relationship is to succeed. So not all of us, though, are in relationships, but all of us have a self. And all of us have to make sure we're balanced in the way that we love ourselves. And balance is important because there is such thing as toxic positivity. And toxic positivity is a lot like oxygen toxicity. Oxygen toxicity to the body is when the body actually gets too much oxygen. And then the body starts to have negative symptoms and eventually could end badly as a result of having too much oxygen, even though the body's made up of mostly oxygen. It's the same thing with positivity. If your idea of positivity is that you're going to be extreme and you're going to cut out all critical thinking and all negative thoughts and remarks, well, then you've crossed the line over into toxic positivity. It's actually not helpful to the metaphysical self, and it'll eventually end in a train wreck. When your positivity has become toxic, now someone can't even come to you and say anything. Hey, I'm having a bad day today. Oh, don't bring that around me. I don't want to hear it. We become we're lacking empathy. So you don't want to go to the extreme and say, oh no, I can't handle or think of or contemplate any negativity. You've heard of the term constructive criticism. Criticism can be constructive if it's kept at that 18.5 to 20 percentile range. Criticism can be constructive. It's important for us to have the ability to think of ourselves from the standpoint of how we can improve, understanding that we're not perfect. But most of us who are victims of trauma, who haven't gone the route of narcissists, have gone to the other extreme where we ruminate on all the negative and we block out the positive. So now when someone comes up to us and they say, hey, you did a really good job. And we're just like, no, I didn't do a really great job on anything. We block out the positive. If you do that, you're damaging yourself. You need to absorb the positive and block out the majority of the negative, because the ratio in the world around us, the negativity ratio is too high. So we actually live in a toxic environment. Television, it's a toxic environment. Music, popular music, toxic. The news, highly toxic. Highly toxic. You cannot watch the news all day, every day, and stay mentally healthy. That is not possible. You should limit your intake of media and news to make sure that you're keeping it down to just what you need to know about 20% critical negative ideas. Why? Because in order for you to be healthy metaphysically, the energy that comes in has to be majority constructive. You got to be on the up and up, and your thoughts need to be majority constructive. So you have to train yourself to think and to believe in a space that is positive, constructive. What is good for me to think? What is good for me to believe? So what is your inner dialogue like? Do you say to yourself throughout the day, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, you idiot. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they saw me do that. Oh no. And you're going over and rehearsing again the embarrassing thing that you did, or the embarrassing thing that you said, or all the mistakes. Let's take that and shrink that down and just get it 1 to 5. There's 1. We need to fill categories 2, 3, 4, and 5 with positive thinking. It's, you know what? It's okay. I'm doing good. I have a job. You know what? I'm glad I have my health. You know what? I'm glad the sun's shining. You know what? I'm glad spring will be here soon. You know what? I'm glad I have a family. You know what? things are going to be all right. You know what? I'm going to contact my therapist. You know what? I'm going to go to the gym. You know what I can do? Focusing on what you can control, what's in your power. I can cook for myself. I think I'll make a meal for myself. I think I'll take a bath. I think I'll take a shower. I think I'll brush my teeth. I think I'll comb my hair. Hey, I'm looking in the mirror. Hey, I don't look half bad. Hey, I look good. Hey, I feel good about myself. I like my hair. I like my complexion. Okay, there's a few things I could improve on, but 4, 5, 6, positivity. When you build upon the things that you're proud of, the things that you've accomplished, the things that you like about yourself, the things that other people like about them, like about you, the things that people have said to you that are compliments that make you feel so good, do not reject them. Absorb them. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Absorb. When someone gives you a compliment, you say thank you. It is absolutely rude for you to deflect all compliments. You don't get that many compliments that you could afford to deflect them. Now, maybe if you're at like superstar level or something like that, then you can get to the point where you can afford to deflect compliments. But you're not there. You're at a deficit because you've been abused. The verbal abuse that you've received throughout your lifetime, you're at a energy deficit right now. You need to absorb the positive compliments that are coming in, and you need to give them to yourself. So you got to write on a piece of paper at least 5, better 10 things that you like about yourself. It can be things that you accomplished, things that you did, and individual traits that you have. I like that I'm kind of funny. I like that I'm smart. I like that I'm good at basketball. I like that I have a sense of humor. Write them down. Focus on them. Value them. Treasure them. Blow them up in your mind as being important. Put them at the forefront of the metaphysical eyes. Keep them in front of you. Confident people, the reason why they are confident is because that's what they're thinking about. A professional basketball player is not thinking, oh, you know what? I'm so bad at parallel parking. Oh, I'm so terrible at parallel parking when they walk on the court. Not if they're a winner. They can't think that way. It'll destroy them. I am such a bad husband. I am such a bad father. They are not thinking that when they walk on the court. They're thinking, this is what I do. This is my game. Oh, I've got this. I've got this under control. They are thinking positive, constructive thoughts. That's why they exude confidence. That's what the basis of their confidence is, the thinking. Anyone can be confident. You don't have to be a professional athlete. You can be confident. Your confidence will be based on your thinking. If your thinking is constantly constructive, you will start to walk like you are confident. You will start to speak like you are confident. The more you put yourself in that situation and you look for confirmation of a bias that you are good, that you are skilled, that you are talented, that you are worth it, and you get that bias confirmed and confirmed and confirmed, your confidence builds, your self-esteem builds, and you heal from the trauma that you are experiencing, because right now you are out of that trauma. Right now you are safe. Right now is the time to heal. Right now is the time to get to know yourself and come to love yourself to the same degree that you would love your neighbor. Love yourself as you would love your neighbor. Just like you would do anything for a person who comes over your house to make them comfortable, treat yourself the same way. Ask yourself, do you want anything to drink? What can I get you? Are you hungry? What do you want to do? No. We can watch your movie. We can watch what you want to watch. You understand? Treat yourself with the same love that you would treat another person with. That is how you love yourself. Treat yourself like a child that is in your care. Protect him or her and build them up. You would not say to a child that's in your care, you are so stupid. So why do you say it to yourself? You would not say to a guest in your home, oh my God, I cannot believe what you said today at dinner. That was so embarrassing. So why do you say that to yourself and harp on and on about it? When you do that, you are being an abuser. You are mimicking the abusive behavior of your oppressors. And you are oppressing yourself, which is ironic because you're an abuse victim. You're the last person who should be getting oppressed. And if you're going to get oppressed by anyone, you should be the last person to do it. There is so much toxicity in the world around us that you need to take this time right now. This is your opportunity. When you are alone in your home, when you are alone in your room, when you are alone in your car, this is your opportunity to build yourself up, to fortify yourself. You eat the vitamins now to boost the immune system in the body so that when it gets exposed to a virus or a bacteria or something harmful, it will be strong enough to fight it. And so likewise for the metaphysical self, you have to take in the vitamins, and that's going to be the positive energy elements, all of the thoughts, ideas, and concepts that are constructive to the self. And you have to ruminate on them. You have to create the neural pathways that are new, and you have to stop yourself when you're on the old neural pathway. So very much after this talk, you'll be like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to think more positive. And then literally tonight or tomorrow morning, you'll be back in the, I hate myself. But when you do it, all you have to do is catch yourself, because that's the subconscious pattern. But you are not your brain. You are a conscious being. So you can turn around and observe your own thoughts. And you can say, whoa, that's more than 20% negativity. Let's pull that down a little bit. Let's make it constructive. What do I need to work on? This? Okay, we're done. Now let's move on to some constructive thoughts. What can I do? What can I control? Who am I really? What do I have to offer? Let's go. You are rich in natural resources. You have talents, abilities, skills, aptitudes. Get to know them, focus on them, because that's who you are.